Hi, it's Anne. So this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you what I did. So if you want to see this, you should definitely go on Instagram onto my account, The Useless Crafter, and that way you can see what it looks like 30 inches long. And I did, a Kobe tribute. So there's the 5 roses, and I thought it was fitting for his family. So I did the top 2 in gold and the bottom 3 in purple. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I also added a little bit of color. I did um, this like dark brown goldish color for the eyes, and then I did bright red lips. So this is how I cut it originally. Okay, so I cut it into 6 pieces for the black, and it was beautiful. Everything is attached except for a few things that I cut. So I don't think I will cut it the same way. Now that I've pieced it together, I think I'll be a little bit more mindful of where I make my cuts, because what happened was this little piece had to be taped onto this piece right here, had to be taped on. This piece right here ended up hanging out by itself. Um, And that was really it. Everything else still stayed intact and was just beautiful to work with. I wish I had taken a picture of it. Once I taped the 6 pieces together, when I pulled it up, it was just this beautiful, delicate, intricate black glitter piece of work. I mean, it was just awesome. Anyway, I got this file on Etsy. It is Wild Child Design 77, but I will write that in comments so that you can see it. So, okay. And then originally I cut this. So this is 30 inches. So you have to cut it at least in threes, right? Because each square, I'm losing my head today, is 11 by 11, right? So 11 plus 11 plus 11 is 33 inches. So because this is 30, I will need at least three. Um, how did I do this? That hold on, that doesn't make sense. Hmm, that's, okay. So I cut this a while ago. So I must have done 12 by 24 cardstock for the whites because I didn't want any lines coming through. That's what I did. So I had 2 sheets of 12 by 24, I think. And then this was by itself. And then I think everything else may have fit onto one, but I'm not sure. So, okay, if we want to do that, we can do that. So first thing you do, sorry, you upload the design. This is 30, make it 30 inches. So all you do is you click on it, go into height, and do 30 inches. By default, the width will go proportionately. Now, this is a pretty simple file because it's just one color, right? So I'm going to show you first how to slice it. So the first thing that you do is go to shapes. I'm sorry, my recording is right there. So I'm going to go into shapes, bring in a square there. And for a second, let me just move all this over, okay? So what you want to do is you basically want to build your squares flushed next to, just basically flushed all your squares. You want it to cover your whole piece, and then we're going to slice it 1 square at a time. Now, so let's build our squares. Let's make this 11 by 11. And I like to use 11 by 11 because I typically buy 12 by 12 cardstock, and I don't want to deal with 1/2 inches. So that's why I go 11 by 11 instead of 11.5 by 11.5. I just find that it's not worth, trying to get that extra 1/2 inch. I think it's easier to explain 11 by 11 and also just to work with 11 by 11. So in this case, this time around, I don't think I'm just going to build this, okay? So basically at 30 inches, so this is 30 inches by 20.3, which means I need 2 columns of 3, right? Because 2 going across is 22 inches, 3 going down would be 33 inches, which would cover this piece. So let me move, oops, sorry. Let me move these out of the way for now, and we're gonna build our squares, okay? So here's our first square. Let's duplicate that, and let's just kind of like line it up. So what you wanna do is your first square here, we wanna go to the position feature up here in the toolbar. The X and the Y is just like math back in the day. Your X axis is going across, your Y axis is going down, okay? And, no, I don't know how I scrolled down so far. So this first square, what you want to do is we're just going to round these numbers to whole numbers. So right now it's at 2.11. Let's make that 2. And then let's make this 2.167. Just make it 2 and then hit tab. When you do that, that means we're telling this square go over 2. So 1, 2, and go down to 1, 2. And that's our first point of this rectangle square. This next one, if you put it close enough, you don't have to do any math, because if you go over here, this is 13.22, I'm going to do 13, and this is 2.11, I'm going to do 2. Now I'll show you the math also. So if this is at 2 and we're adding 11, then this needs to be at 13, right? So there's 13. So now if you highlight both of these and duplicate, you don't have to make the 2 squares flushed with each other because we duplicated it and it's already flushed. We just need to get this one flushed with the one above. So again, if you put this close enough, you don't have to do any math. You just round to the nearest whole number. So 1.944, it becomes 2. 13.167 becomes 13. All right, so now we have 4 squares. Duplicate the set of 2 again. Put it as close as possible. And then go, and it's already at 2, then this needs to be changed to 24. Now we have 6 squares all flushed with each other. Here is our, and let's bring this to the front. Go to Arrange and send to front so you can see it. See, this is, now it fits. And we're basically going to slice 1 square with the image at a time so that we break this up into 6 pieces that the Cricut can cut. That's our goal. Now, I did a white background in the back of this image. This image, the way it was uploaded, does not have a background. So what you want to do is you want to go to duplicate, and you can do this. This is for any one of them, okay? Go to contour. Did I hit contour? I did hit contour. Okay. And contour is really cool. Just any open space within the image. What's going on here? Okay, it's taking a second to upload. But you can hide any features that you want. So, and I'll show you in a second what the heck I'm talking about. Okay, so here's our image, and it's taking a while for it to load. But I want you to be able to see it so you can know how to use it. I like it, for instance, because if you can see this down here, do you see the little leaves where my arrow is? If you wanted to, we could bubble those in by using contour. We could say, hey, hide that little circle or that empty space, and it becomes a full black space. It's so slow to load this. Let's just click hide all contours, and it leaves us this full background. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of it, and there's our background. So again, this one can go here, and we can slice as is too. So what I would do is, while I have this down here, this is if you were using 12 by 24 cardstock for the background, you can cut it like this. I ended up liking this because her face didn't have any seams at all. So you can see, I mean, look how big she is compared to my face. But her face was seamless, like it was just so beautiful. So you could do that. But if you know you're going to be filling in these spaces, then I wouldn't worry too much about your white seams. your black, if you use black glitter cardstock, it hides the seams so well and it's beautiful. It's also very vibrant and colorful and shimmery and shiny if you use glitter cardstock, which I highly recommend for any of these projects because it does hide the seams well in general. Okay, and the darker the color, the easier it is to hide the seams. So, okay, I'm going to pretend that we're all just using 12 by 12 cardstock, okay? So because we need to slice both these images up, because this is 20 by 30, right? You can't send it to your Cricut right now to be cut. I'm just going to grab these 6 and I'm going to duplicate it because we're going to need to slice both sets, right? And that way we don't have to go through the process of lining up our little squares again. Okay, so I'm going to now zoom in, okay? And the reason why you do that is because then you can see where your cut lines are going to be. So in this case, the way I have it, this is better than the way I had it before because if you remember, I ended up slicing this and this was a piece by itself. So what I would probably do is maybe move this up a little bit. Yeah, I would move it like this so that this little piece is all by itself. So when I slice this in this square, this is going to be, see, this is going to be hanging. This is where it's going to connect with this piece. So this is okay because now this piece is all going to be one piece. It's all connected as well as this piece. So I like that. I don't like this though. Do you see that little lash right there? That piece is going to be cut off. A teeny tiny portion is going to be above that seam and the rest of the eye is below the seam. So I would probably, if there's room, I would move this up just a little bit more. And let's see what we have now. So yeah, so now this whole eye piece will be one piece. That's easier to deal with. I'd probably move it up a little bit more. And then this is going to cut down right here. I would almost move it over a little bit more. But yeah, this design is amazing because if you just look at the mouth, for instance, it's going to be sliced here, but all of this is all connected. Oh, right there, that piece is going to be by itself. So it's hard because we did 20. It's basically if we did this right in half, we're cutting down the middle of her face. So, I mean, it's okay to deal with those pieces, but that's what you're gonna have. See, and like this piece right here will be hanging by itself. So I would probably, let's make this a little bit smaller. I would probably try to move. Oh, that would be nice. That's an idea. Right there, because this whole eye is on this side. It's going to slice here. The nose will stay intact. Oh, it's over here a little bit. I almost feel like it might be easier to watch this. I'm going to pull these two and I'm going to move this over here a little bit. So while it's still flushed, this is what we have. That way, everything looks good. So let me see if I can move. I want to make sure that this slice doesn't impact this piece and this slice right here, everything is to the left of it. So I like the way that looks. I think it looks good. Let's make a duplicate copy of this image because I'm going to show you how to do the flowers. Okay, that's going to be another thing. I know. Okay, ready? So when you're slicing, you can only slice 2 things at one time. So that's going to be one square and your image. So when you take your mouse, when you do this, you've already grabbed your 2 items because my top left square is highlighted and my image is touched. So I can go to slice because it's not grayed out. Now, if I try to go a little bit too far and look, I'm just going to go past this seam a little bit, and that's going to go into, so now I have two squares highlighted technically, right? And my image. When I let go, slice is grayed out because I selected 3 items, okay? All right, so let's start this and let's slice it. Okay, and we'll slice this. Slice this. And I don't know what's going on with that. Every time I slice, something like that happens. I think it's just a glitch and it's totally fine because your image is still okay, but we'll double check in a second. Did that work? Yeah. And this is really big. You saw how it compared to my face here. If you go on Instagram, the Useless Crafter No Spaces, you can see how big this is. It's really beautiful in person. All right, so we're slicing our last piece, and then I think we're done. Okay, so what we can take away is the back. We don't need any of that. Oops. Okay. Okay. So what we're going to cut is this. I don't love that, but that's okay. You can drop that piece and you wouldn't even notice it, I don't think. So let's move these 2 pieces. Okay. So these are your 6 pieces. If you look carefully on this one looks like it's going to be one connected piece, as well as this one, I think. This one, this section right here, they're going to be 2 separate pieces that you're going to have to tape to the leaves, okay? Probably not the best thing. And these 2 little tips will probably get lost, and I don't think it's going to make a difference in your overall picture. And these 2 will be by itself. Okay, so we have that done. Let's zoom back out. So you have that sliced into 6. You can do the same with this. Just take this, go to arrange, send to the front so that you can see what it looks like up here. And on this one, I never like to slice the top and the bottom the same way because then you have seams in the same place. It's really hard to make them flushed and tape them up against each other, if that makes sense. Because if this seam is elsewhere, then I'll tape it in a different area, be able to push it up against each other better in other places. So, all right. So on this one, I'm just going to keep it like this and I'm going to slice. Okay. So again, you're going to have to do slice 5 times and you're just going to go all the way around. And when I'm slicing these images, I like to keep them in order. And what I mean by that is, so when I take it off the mat, I know exactly where this piece goes because of this little thing. I know it's my top right corner. You don't have to. I just find that it's one less thing I have to try to figure out. So I like to do it that way. And if you ever make a mistake and you know specifically you want a certain piece, you know which one to recut, for instance. Okay, so now you have your 6 pieces. And if you only wanted to do 2 colors, you're done. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this because I didn't like the way I sliced this in the first place. Okay, now we have this, and I'm going to make it bigger. And sorry. Go to shapes and let's bring in a circle and bring in a square. And I had to do that because the recording button's right there, so I couldn't do anything about it. All right, so let's move this over. And let's say we want to deal with this flower right here, okay? So what I would do is, and let's duplicate these a few of these here. All right, so I basically want to get these 2 roses together. So what you want to do is unlock this image because it's more of a rectangle, right? And we're going to do this. You want to make sure that this square covers the entire 2 roses, okay? And we're going to slice because I'll show you in a second. It's really, really cool. So you have this piece. Is that the piece I want? I forgot how I did it. Let me think about this. I want this piece. So you see the rose, the petals, this round part right here is what I want I originally did it in gold. What I don't want are the leaves and I don't want the border, right? So what you're gonna do is, let's select this. Hold on, let's delete these 2 things. Let's just remove things that we don't need so it's not cluttering. Undo, sorry. What did I do? Oh, that's part of the image. Okay, so let's look at that and let's go to contour. What we don't want is anything that's not part of the flower. Okay, so we don't want that. So you're just gonna click on things. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want any of these leaves. And this may seem like a lot of work, but it's very quick to go through it and it's worth it because what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a solid shape that's gonna go underneath our black webbing and on top of the white. Okay, so it's our middle layer to give that color. So this is that part of it? No, that's part of the leaf. Yeah. So just click on all these items and I'll show you what it looks like. I mean, contouring is a very cool feature that you should get comfortable with. It's super cool. All right, we don't need this. We don't need this. We do want that. That's part of the flower. Don't need that. We're almost there, at least for these 2 flowers. And then I'll show you, I mean, it's the same concept, but I'll do the eyes and, come on. Okay, oop, and the last few leaves. Okay, so there's our flower, okay? And let me make it a different color so you can see. Let's just do this yellow, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it over here so you can actually see what it would look like. See, it would fit in like that, okay? So you can decide once you put it in if you made a mistake in contouring. For instance, if we wanted this to be yellow, then let's just go back to contour and we're gonna add back that piece, okay? Which is this piece right here. And now look, there's our yellow, okay? This does fit, this is flush. It's just because I can't get it completely over where it's supposed to be, okay? And you might determine you want this little piece here too, right? So let's go to contour and add that back. And where is that? That would be this piece, okay? And then now look, so there's your rose, all right? But let's move this back over here. If we cut it like this would be a bazillion pieces that we don't want to do, right? So this is what I did. I took this circle and I made it bigger and I'm going to unlock the shape. And basically, I'm going to move this to the front. Arrange, send to the front. Because I don't want it to go past my, the outer, layers, but I want all this connected. So watch this. I'm going to grab these 2 and I'm going to weld. And when I put this back, and I'm going to move that to the arrange, send to the back so you could just see what it looks like. Is that cool or what, right? So it's all there, but what did I just do? Hold on. There. Right? I mean, that's really cool. So what I did was now this top rose is all but 2 pieces. It's this plus this. So let's connect that because we want this to cut, and I'm going to show you. Give me 1 second. I'm going to just do like that because I have these pieces. Okay, I cut this twice because I cut it originally in this gold and I didn't think it was as vibrant. But this is basically my flower. So it just goes the whole, it's one whole big piece. It's this right here. One whole big piece. You gotta love that. And that would be the same as the purple flower. So it becomes one blob. So when it cuts, you just take that and you put it underneath in between your layers and it looks beautiful. Okay, so let me go back to this and show you what I would do. So I don't like that piece hanging off by itself. So let's do this. I'm just making it thinner and I'm adding it to this, okay? So let's do that and let's weld. And let's go back over here and see it doesn't go past my black. So this yellow is going to be, at least this top one, is going to be perfect and easy to put in there, and it doesn't go past where it should. So now let's do the, let me send it to the back so you can see it. See, I mean, that flower is so beautiful, right? And this is so that you avoid trying to, you know, tape, glue a bazillion pieces together, okay? So same thing over here. I would do this. I would unlock it, kind of get it touching as many pieces as you can, like so, and then weld it. So now we look at this, and we have this piece hanging out and this piece. That's it. So let's duplicate this a few more times. Okay, and make it, I make it small because I don't want to go past, you know, my little thing either. Okay, and flip it this way, and there. Okay, so let's weld that. And let's put it back over here. So this is now one connected piece for the rose, right? What an improvement. Move to the back. Oops. Send to the back. It's, I mean, it's a beautiful rose. Roses. Okay, now, I don't think we need these little holes. So I don't like to like ruin my blade when I don't have to. So I'm actually, you know what? Let's hide all contours. Okay, and then let's just make sure that we haven't messed this up in any way. See, and it's perfect. Let me grab these two things so you can see it, right? And then let your Cricut is just going to cut the edges and it'll be easy for it to cut and it's going to look gorgeous and easy for us to assemble. That's the important piece, okay? So I hope that that makes sense. You're going to do that for all these areas. So let's pick another section. Let's do her lips, for instance, okay? So you're going to take this piece and we just want to make sure you want to get all of the lip, but you don't get anything more than you have to, but you want to make sure you get your lip. Okay, so I think that's good. I'm slicing it. Okay, so that's the lip originally. Okay, so what you want to do is we want this one because we want to keep the inside of the lip and then we're going to weld it together. So get rid of this. Let's go to this and let's go to contour. And remember, we only want to keep the inside lip because this will give us the outline that we need. And then later we're going to weld it together. So let's select that. We don't want that. We don't want that. That. Oops. Why won't it let me select that? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. So now we have our lip, right? Let's make a few of these. Okay. Unlock it. Okay. And put it like that. Now you don't want to go past your lip line, right? Your outline. So let's do that and see what we get, okay? We're going to get a lot of it. You're going to weld it together. And now, at least this part is all one piece. We need to get a few more of those. So I would just make this super small, unlock it. I would make it super small and wide to make sure we get all of that. And let's duplicate that shape and get it on this side. And it's okay to go over a little bit because look, you have this black outline that will cover a little bit, right? So you just don't want to go too over. I don't think I got, okay, here we go. I know it's so small, sorry. Okay, grab all of that and weld it. And let's turn this red. And then let's bring this over. We'll bring it over to this piece over here. Okay, and send it to the back. And there's her lip, looking beautiful, right? But one piece. If you remember how many pieces that was. So that doesn't look like it's connected. So I'm going to, let's grab one more circle. I'm gonna make this bigger so you can see what I'm talking about. Do you see how that piece, it's like it's touching, but it doesn't look like it's welded together, right? So let's make this super small and make sure everything touches. Make that even smaller. Okay, and let's weld that. All right, so now it's one piece. That's what you're gonna do for anything that you want in color. So for instance, if you want these leaves, then you would make sure that you grab the leaves, right? Like a small, you want to cover the shape, but not grab too much because when you go to slice it, you're going to pick up a lot of pieces, right? So that's all there is to this thing. I absolutely love this one. If you want to make it and if you have questions, please reach out to me on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook because she's beautiful. You can make her any colors. Like I said, I did specifically purple and gold for Kobe Bryant and his daughter, Gigi. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful. I hope you use contouring on a regular basis because it's such a cool tool. And just hit me up with any questions. I'm here to help you and I love this project. So if this is the one that speaks to you, you have to do it because it's amazing. All right, bye.